This is not republicanism as we have known it. These are racist ideas, race-baiting ideas, anti-Muslim, anti-immigrant, anti-women, all key tenets making up the emerging racist ideology known as the alt-right.
What was that? That was Hillary Clinton's speech a few weeks ago denouncing the self-proclaimed alt-right and their support of Donald Trump and Donald Trump's campaign cultivating that support. You remember the speech, you remember the whole discussion around that, but there was this one weird heckling moment in that speech. Here it is again.
All key tenets making up the emerging racist ideology known as the alt-right.
So it's not like an applause moment or like a booing moment or whatever. It's quiet. Everybody's listening to what she says. As soon as she says that phrase alt-right, some guy yells out from the crowd, Pepe! And to most people, that was a totally inexplicable thing at the moment. It must be totally random. To the white supremacist, anti-Semitic, neo-Nazi right in this country, that guy yelling that out in that moment, that was a moment of triumph. That was the most hilarious thing they had ever heard in their lives. Because Pepe refers to Pepe the Frog, this otherwise innocuous cartoon character, which, as unlikely as it may sound, it is one of the things that the racist right has adopted as a symbol online.
So, who are we? I think if I were to describe what a lot of people know about the alt-right, it's probably some things they've seen online. It's the Pepe memes, it's the parentheses, it's the take no prisoners attitude on places like Twitter and things like that. We live in a society of a great deal of degeneracy. We live in a society in which the fundamental moral norms are liberal, and we are attempting to fight our way out of them. And sometimes that's going to involve using the means that are at hand. That's going to involve being a part of this fragmenting group. That's going to involve dank memes. It's going to involve Pepe. It's going to involve unleashing a little chaos.
When you say that people who convey the idea that the parentheses, put out the parentheses, put out the Pepe, what are the ideas that they're doing your work for you? What is that word? What are they conveying?
Well, in particular,
well, both. Let's say both the frog and the parentheses.
The frog is an expression of a certain. It's a smug frog, but it's an expression of a willingness. This is someone who's willing to speak the truth.
It's ridiculous, right? This smug frog is willing to, speak the truth about race and the Jews, right? This is the guy who designed the new space-age logo that he wants the alt-right to use. He's the guy who just wants a white homeland. Is that too much to ask? But, here these guys are, emboldened by how well Donald Trump is doing, because he's the kind of leader they want. And there he is in D.C. explaining to the press, helpfully, that the white supremacist movement that he's part of and that he's a leader of has taken over online the meme of this otherwise innocuous cartoon frog and used it to try to infiltrate references and sort of knowing winks to white supremacist ideas and anti-Semitic ideas and racist ideas wherever they can. And so, while Hillary Clinton is denouncing Trump cultivating the racist right, some guy yelling Pepe out of the crowd is the funniest thing these guys have ever heard in their lives. And if you want to grab a little bottle of Ipecac and head over with me to the David Duke Twitter feed, you can see there that alongside the standard, more recognizable racist and anti-Semitic stuff that you would expect from a David Duke, stuff like, for example, Hillary Clinton with her forehead marked with a kosher symbol, and David Duke lamenting that she's getting the Jewish vote, or a Jewish guy with Tim Kaine. From David Duke's perspective, this is damning evidence of the great Jewish conspiracy behind Clinton and Kaine. Alongside that kind of stuff, which you might expect and which is pretty easy to decode from the perspective of a former Klan leader, there's also David Duke tweeting out Pepe the Frog. Pepe the Frog supporting David Duke in his Senate race in Louisiana. And there's Pepe the Frog again as Donald Trump and his wall on the southern border. And this one's just from yesterday on David Duke's Twitter feed. Donald Trump kissing Pepe the Frog, the little white supremacist baby signifier. So, it's weird. It's deliberately weird. It's meant to be an unmistakable symbol that won't blend in anywhere, but you always know what it means. This frog, they've taken over, started as an anodyne thing. They've taken it over as a deliberate white supremacist symbol. So when Hillary Clinton made those remarks at that fundraiser last week, when she called out racist and xenophobic extremists supporting Trump, right, the basket of deplorables thing, well, the racist and anti-Semitic right tried to turn that into a badge of honor. And somebody created this image of the proud deplorables. You can look carefully at all the heads there. It's Donald Trump flanked by, well, there's each of his sons. Eric on the left side of your screen, Don Jr. on the right side of your screen. There's also Mike Pence, just to the left of Trump. There's Chris Christie, Rudy Giuliani. There's the editor on the far right there. That's the editor from the Trump campaign CEO's website, who was banned from Twitter for racist abuse. You also see Ben Carson there. You see next to the racist abuse guy with the dagger, that's the conspiracy theory guy from InfoWars who says that Sandy Hook was fake, and so was 9/11. And then right alongside Donald Trump, right between him and Rudy Giuliani, there's the frog. So it's like Donald Trump and his crew, Donald Trump and his team, we've got your back. All your mainstream political supporters like Pence and Christie, all your family, your super far-right, crazy conspiracy, racist media buddies, we're all here with you. We got your back. And the white supremacists, we got your back, Donald Trump. We're right here behind you, standing over your shoulder. It's creepy, right? And that image was not created by Donald Trump Jr., but it was posted online by Donald Trump Jr. Was posted on his Instagram account. It's still there tonight. What is Donald Trump Jr. doing posting the neo-Nazi frog thing? I mean, it stands out, right? It's not like a subtle thing you don't notice if you don't think it means anything. If you're Donald Trump Jr., I mean, in this picture, you're in between Alex Jones and Rudy Giuliani, but two ahead of you in terms of closeness to your dad is this big green frog. If you don't know what it is, don't you wonder? Do you ask somebody? Do you really not know? Or do you know what it is? Donald Trump Jr. told ABC this morning he had no idea what he was posting when he posted that. No idea. And maybe that's true. Maybe he had no idea. But this has come up around Donald Jr. in a couple of other ways, too. In March, you might remember he accidentally says he went on an overtly white supremacist radio show that's called The Political Cesspool. His excuse at the time was that he didn't know where he was when he did that interview. He had no idea he was talking to white supremacists. Now, in another radio interview, Donald Trump Jr. has just raised the specter of gas chambers when making a point about his father's candidacy.
Without the media, this wouldn't even be a contest. But the media has built her up. They've let her slide on every indiscrepancy, on every lie, on every DNC game trying to get Bernie Sanders out of the thing. I mean, if Republicans were doing that, they'd be warming up the gas chamber right now.
Donald Trump Jr. on warming up the gas chambers. The Anti-Defamation League responded to that basically with a, whoa, dude, you want to take that back? The conservative protest candidate, Evan McMullin, who's going to be on the ballot in Utah, Idaho, maybe other states, he responded by calling that an unsurprising Nazi reference from the alt-right movement's presidential campaign. This is the real Trump. The Trump campaign later explained that the gas chamber line from Trump's son had nothing to do with those kind of gas chambers. He meant something totally different. Maybe that's true. That said, after an initial angry and defensive statement about the gas chamber thing, blaming the media for blowing this all out of proportion today, Mr. Trump Jr. conceded that maybe the whole warming up the gas chambers thing was a poor choice of words. Surely. But given his recent history, I mean, given where else he has been in public at the top of Dad's campaign, it is hard to buy yourself the benefit of the doubt on issues like this. It is hard to buy yourself some slack in terms of people knowing exactly what you mean. So, I mean, take the snapshot as wide as you want. There's a lot going on. From U.S. troops at war in Syria and a leaky Russian aircraft carrier steaming that way to U.S. nuclear-capable bombers flying over the Korean peninsula in a show of force, from the swing state polls starting to jump around like popcorn and the national polls getting to the point where they're basically tied. I mean, take the snapshot as wide as you want. But in terms of seeing where we are, in terms of knowing where we are, in terms of the way American politics is being conducted today, it will matter, it has to matter, that one side of American politics is pulling a drag bar through the sewer tank of what gets flushed out of normal politics. From the candidate himself from the top of his campaign, from his son, the way they are operating, what they are front-paging, even at this late date in the campaign, is really, really, really fringe racist conspiracy theories and tropes. And I know the polls, but when you are doing it that way, that cannot win. It can't win. It can't. We'll be right back.
Welcome to all of you deplorables.